Breaking tonight, 3 new polls showing big moves in the Republican field. And for the first time in 3 months, one national poll showing a new man on top. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. Brand new polling out tonight from Investors Business Daily has Dr. Ben Carson in first place at 24% in a national survey. Only the second time Carson has ever been on top, and the first time someone has bested Donald Trump since early July. A dive by NBC News and the Wall Street Journal into New Hampshire also shows an increasingly competitive field. Trump remains in first place, but Carly Fiorina has surged 10 points, taken second place in what is now a much tighter lineup. And Jeb Bush is in third there, neck and neck with Senator Rubio. In Iowa, the Republicans there tell the same story, a major tightening between the top-tier contenders. Trump holds on to his lead, but it narrows, with a number of candidates gaining new Hawkeye state support since September. Again, the latest surge, the largest surge, is from Fiorina, but you can see Carson is still in second position there, 5 points behind Trump in Iowa. We have 2 Republican presidential candidates here tonight, including Carly Fiorina, the woman now surging, and Senator Marco Rubio, who is also showing new strength. But we begin tonight with Fox News digital politics editor Chris Stirewalt and host of Mediabuzz here on Fox, Howard Kurtz. Good to see you both. So Investors Business Daily, I always go by Dana Blanton, who runs our polling division. She tells us whether this is a legitimate poll or not a legitimate poll. She says this one is okay, we can cite it. This is the first time we've seen Trump in anything but the top position in months. What do you make of it?
Well, look, he came in when Donald Trump came into the race. People said he's not for real. This isn't going to work. Boom, he shoots up the top. He stays stable. Ben Carson gets sort of drowned out. Now, I'm sure that for many in the Republican establishment, they would prefer that the person surging in this poll was not Ben Carson because he's not exactly their idea. But here's what it demonstrates. Outsider year. Ben Carson has got a momentum and an energy to this campaign that defies so much of what has been defined and what has been written about what we are supposed to see, what is supposed to happen. And, you know, it's sort of to this point where you have to say, let's see where this goes. What
has happened, Howie, do you think, for Trump? He's still obviously the front runner in every other poll. But he had 30.5% on September 19th. He had 30% in the national polling, and now he's fallen considerably in this poll. What do you make of it?
I think that national poll may be a bit of an outlier, but no question the race is tightening. There is simply no way that Donald Trump was going to be able to continue to dominate every poll and every minute of every campaign conversation every day. And so what's happened is that some of the novelty factor may have worn off with Trump. Cable news no longer goes live every time he clears his throat. And so then you have Carly Fiorina and Ben Carson and the only practicing card-carrying politician in the bunch, Marco Rubio, now grabbing more of the media oxygen, becoming better known, but also that means they're going to be getting tougher scrutiny.
By the way, Chris, with all due respect to Dana, they only polled in this poll 377 registered voters. They were Republicans or registered independents who lean Republican. Is that enough?
I mean, it's a poll. It's a data point. As Howie points out, this could be an outlier. This could be a prediction of things to come. But when we couple it with other national polls, when we couple it with what you just showed in New Hampshire, what you showed in Iowa, this race is shifting. So after a long period of stasis in which it was Trump and everybody else, we are starting to see the stratification. We are starting to see the diminution of Trump. We are starting to see this emerge.
So what does Trump do at this point? What does he do? Because he has almost 100% name recognition. I mean, find me a person who doesn't know Donald Trump.
He did flip it once. At the beginning when he came in the race, he was 60-30. The Republicans said, we don't like him, 60%, 30% said, we think he's okay. He flipped it. It was astonishing. Over time, he's given not a lot, but he's given a substantial amount of that back. Now, whether or not he has 2 choices. He's either going to go back into reruns. He'll start a feud. He'll go on Twitter. He'll say this, that, the other thing. He'll go crazy and hope that he can get more attention, more media coverage of the media coverage. Or he's going to keep doing what he's started to do, what he's shown some signs of doing. Build out organization, reach into his own pocket, spend the money that it will take to build a real campaign so that when he suffers the fall to earth, that every candidate suffers, when it hurts, that he'll be there to bounce back like Marco Rubio, like other candidates have done that have gone through lean times but have had the organization and the fortitude to get back.
What do you make, Howie, of the fact that, okay, Carly Fiorina is, quote, surging, but she's at 8%, right? So, I mean, it's like Trump has got, triple her numbers in Iowa. So it's nice to surge, but it's better if you can have triple the numbers. Right? I mean, so it's like, well, how does she translate her surge into actual winning?
Well, considering where she started from, where she was an asterisk in this race and couldn't even get into the first primetime debate, I mean, she has made tremendous progress. But let's not lose sight of the fact that not only is Trump still on top, except in that one poll, but what counts here are the state-by-state polls. And so even if he's got a 5-point lead in Iowa and New Hampshire, if Donald Trump wins those first 2 states, there will be an explosion, which will mean he'll be very hard to catch. And one last point, and that is a lot of the skeptics and Trump disparagers say, he's recently said, well, if my poll numbers collapse, I'll go back to my business. And they're saying, aha, he was never serious. He's not in it for the long haul. All he's doing is being candid. Other candidates will never say that until they're about to get out of the race.
He says, if I'm defeated, I'll admit defeat and I'll get out.
If I'm toast, I'll get out. Yeah.
Literally polling at 0 and refuse to get out. They're polling at 0. 0. Let me ask you before I let you go. This is important, Stirewalt. Do you agree with Howie on that? Because we always look at the national polling, but it really comes down to first Iowa, then New Hampshire, then South Carolina. Can you win the Republican nomination if you don't win one of those?
No, you have to win an early state.
You do.
So you got February and then March. March is a goat roping. Anything can happen in March. It's crazy. You got early primaries, then you got the SEC primary, you got Super Duper Tuesday. March is crazy. But February is when it's clear open field running. You've got 3 big ones. You go Iowa, you go New Hampshire, you go South Carolina. If you don't have a win in one of those states, you do not have a calling card to get into the next round, because this will end up being a 2 or maybe 3, but probably 2-person race going down the stretch. If you don't have a February win, you ain't showing up in March.
When are we going to know, Stirewalt? When are we going to know? Like by Easter, will we know?
Well, what if there was a debate? What if we could have the Fox News Channel do a debate in, like, I don't know, late January, let's say, right before the Iowa caucuses? That might be elucidating.
It's exciting. We have not yet begun to get those questions together, but that sounded like a hint. I think I'm getting a call tomorrow. Great to see you both.
Bye.